Ronan?
Oh. I expected more there, but... I guess I didn't need to show it. I didn't expect subtlety at the end. At the very end. Alright. I guess... Yeah, I guess we're getting close to it. It didn't pull the whole... Ha! There's... another half game left to play. Which I appreciate. Not everything has to be like 20, 30 hours long. Okay, good red herring. I'll share my thoughts, or rather, I'll go through my thoughts as I think them. And then I'll do a summary for the whole thing. So, Baxter was a red herring. And I liked how not only was he a red herring, but like it was a red herring that was consistent. Rather, there was cohesion behind that red herring because of the way the murderers worked. I didn't like very much the fact that it was the evil little girl trope, but of all the I guess, yeah, it was tropey game in many ways. I don't remember why she was what her deal was. Was she accused of being a witch and therefore cursed the town? Or was she falsely accusing other women as witches, was found out, and was condemned for that? Like, was she evil all along and was lying about the fact that, I don't know, she was more conservative than the conservatives around her? Yeah. I think I missed something somewhere in there about her backstory. Because there was some diary entry from the judge about Abigail. I think it was about Abigail being used by her father to like accuse others, but that she also accused. Yeah. Okay. Right. I'm remembering as I think it out loud. The idea was that the Puritans were coercing. Well, they were coercing confessions out of women to confess that they were in league with the devil and therefore witches. But they were also coercing, from what I gathered, confessions from other people. Not confessions, but statements that would accuse other people, or I guess other women. But it sounds like she also believed that there were witches and they needed to burn. And that she didn't like that she got burned at the stake as a witch, or as a false accuser of witches, I suppose. Which, yeah, explains how it seemed like there were copycat murderers, which technically I suppose there were. So, the summary is this town had some supernatural thing going on. Well, we start from the basic of this universe. The basics is that there are ghosts. And there are mediums that seem to be women who can communicate. Yeah, I liked how an in-game mechanic was also a method of killing, yeah. And it was the thing that she was using as well against us and against other... It was the traps that she was setting, I suppose, and then she fell into her own trap, which I like that. Or, well, you draw her into her own trap. So yeah, periodically she would come about, haunt, or rather possess, I suppose, men, and kill the women that she thought were witches because they were psychics or mediums, and she was enacting her revenge, I suppose. But it was... Okay, that's interesting. She was enacting her revenge? But she wasn't killing... She was still killing the witches. So that wasn't necessarily a revenge. Because the revenge would be, I don't know, against, what? The judges and the police Which would indicate that still her drive was, her motivation was still the, like, as conservative as it was, as the Puritans were. Like, she was, as you said, Meerkat, more conservative than the conservatives around her. And she remained that. Like, how dare you stop me from ridding this town of all these witches, and I will now make sure that I do this for eternity and not let anyone get away. And I suppose mediums would also be a risk for her, because they might be onto her, they might find her out. And then, why would she kill the killers? Was there a risk, I wonder, of them remembering something? Perhaps. Or I suppose that could fit with her revenge thing. She's also killing all the executioners. Why would she care if they got caught, though? Like, the evidence... Like, the police would not believe in this stuff. That's why they demoted Baxter. But then, okay, so... Well, I'm saying that, but as I was saying that, I just thought, okay, yeah, but there's still the risk of a policeman believing and figuring it out at the end. So, anyone who got close, they died. Poppy or Fanidis? We found the Greek in the credit list. It wouldn't be Poppy or Fanidis, it would be Poppy or Fanidou, or Fanidi, because, you know, it's possessive. You're not your own person as a woman in Greece. I like this game more than I expected I would. It started very, I mean, it was cheesy all throughout. It started kind of blandish, like the main premise, but the writing wasn't very good. There were a couple of side cases to begin with that seemed interesting, and the first side, like, ghost story that we came across was decent. Also, I'm talking about the side cases here. The only actual thing that we solved that was a case was the old couple in the first building killing someone who was partying, right? And then there was nothing else. I think the reason I was being tempted every time that I was coming across evidence to kind of follow it and see where it went and where it led, and I was talking to ghosts and I was expecting that something would come out of that. Like that suspicious guy outside the cemetery, for example. I expected side cases like that first side case in the first building. So either I missed something entirely, or they wanted to do that and then they ran out of time or budget, so they didn't continue it. So and the quest givers are in the game still, but they don't give you any quests. Like, that's quite curious. I'm really curious what happened there. I might look it up later. That's kind of odd. I would have expected those NPCs to be quest givers, to be some kind of mini investigation happening alongside the other investigations. Unless... I don't know, because they did that. I was going to say, unless that side case in the first building was there to basically tutorialize you and socialize you into how the game works. So that then you could use all that in the main investigation. But then the main investigation, the first chapter of the main case did that as well. So why would they want to do that? I wish there wasn't so much collecting to find the short stories. Because the first short story was okay. The second one I found boring. The one that at the museum, I think. No, was the museum or no? It was the police station with the soldier. I didn't like that one. I kind of zoned out completely. And then the other one that I managed to get all the clues for, that was okay. At the psychiatric hospital. But then it was too much, too many collectibles per story. I would have been kind of interested and a little bit curious to see if any of the other short horror stories were any decent. But I didn't really enjoy the whole thing going around and trying to find where the little bit is to reveal it and collect it, and like they could have done that differently perhaps, but I don't know. Fucking video games, they have to have some kind of series of collectibles, padded out a little bit. I get that you would need to do something before you get the reward, but that something wasn't enjoyable for me anyway. If I had to solve some kind of puzzle, perhaps, or actually solve a case, put pieces of clues together and get to that horror story, that would be better rather than just collecting ghost collectibles or some ghost items. I enjoyed the investigative part. I didn't enjoy the enemies. Well, rather, I enjoyed it to a point because I like playing stealthy games, but it seemed a bit unnecessary here. Like in my mind, this falls under the whole. This is an adventure game, or this is a. It's not a walking simulator. This one, it's an adventure game. It's just in 3D, but it's like we're. I don't know if this comes from the developers or this comes from the publisher or where it comes from, but it's like they're insecure in the fact that they have an adventure game and they need to put some more game into the game, as if, the investigation is not enough of a game. I'm pretty much the target audience for this kind of stuff. I don't need that to enjoy this game. It's enjoyable. It would have been more enjoyable overall as a whole if it didn't have that bit. The traps on the floor would have been enough as a threat that forces you to kind of figure out how to move around, use your own ghost power. Well, you could argue that the ghost execution is your ghost power as well, but unnecessary. Yeah, I don't know. Still seems unnecessary to me. Okay, enough, I suppose, meandering thoughts about this one. I mostly enjoyed it. I'm glad I played it. The investigation the whole thing came together pretty nicely. It didn't feel cheap. It didn't feel like it was a magic twist out of nowhere. I wish there was something more with Baxter at the end, because he was the one who stuck with it and got the closest and died for it. And he was played as the antagonist almost from the beginning, the guy who didn't like Ronan. Then he became the prime suspect. It seems to me like there wasn't enough of a redemption for him at the end. How does he move on? It's like he was the believer, but we didn't see his redemption at all. Unless, I don't know, the unfinished business for him was this investigation, and when Ronan, like we, solved that and resolved that, would he have moved on as well? Can that happen? Can your unfinished business be done by some other ghost and then you move on? Questions. We need a sequel or a spin-off where we play Baxter. Or expansion. Because that's never gonna happen. I doubt this game sold much. Anyway, that was Murdered Soul Suspect. Really stupid name, but the game was alright.